I don't want to, Stephen. But I'm so frightened here.
We'll go away together. Tomorrow. We'll go to Spain, to Italy, wherever you want. You'll leave all your nightmares behind you.
Hey everyone, Matt here. And did you hear? But not just that, we're also getting an open-world Sinnoh prequel in January. Now I'm excited if you can't tell, so here's my plan. In addition to reviewing The Rise of Darkrai today, I'm gonna review its second direct sequel, Arceus and the Jewel of Life, in January, with a review of its first direct sequel, Giratina and the Sky Warrior, in between the two, likely in December. So with all that said, let's talk about The Rise of Darkrai. Released in Japan in 2007, becoming the highest grossing anime film in the country that year, and in most other territories in 2008, Pokémon The Rise of Darkrai is the 10th Pokémon movie and the first movie in the anime series Diamond and Pearl arc. The film was the first Pokémon movie to use digital animation and was created by the writer-director team of Hideki Sonoda and Kunihiko Yuyama, who, prior to this, worked on several other Pokémon movies, including fan favorites like the 7th and 8th. So did they manage to make another beloved film here? Well, we're gonna go on a little journey to find out. This is The Rise of Darkrai. So after a neat little intro that showcases all the legendary Pokémon from the previous movies, our movie opens with Dialga and Palkia, the Pokémon gods of time and space, fighting in a strange realm, surrounded by unknown. And after the title screen, we cut to Dawn, Brock, and Ash on their way to Alamos Town, where Dawn is going to compete in a contest. But when they find they accidentally walked to the wrong shore, a young woman in a hot air balloon, named Alice, flies them into town.
So it's Alice from Alamos Town! Let me take you out!
Sorry, after all these years, I'm, still not used to Bill Rogers' Brock.
100 years? That's like 10 years times 10. You're right.
Ugh, but I'm even less used to Ash. Let's get this out of the way, so it doesn't become a problem in later reviews. I primarily grew up with the 4Kids dub, so I'm not the biggest fan of the replacement voice actors and the overall voice direction after Season 8, but I especially don't like Sarah Natacheni's Ash. I don't know why. Maybe it's because Ash is the main character of the show, maybe it's because Veronica Taylor's take was just so iconic, and I certainly have nothing against Natacheni herself. On the contrary, she seems like a very nice person, but she never sounded right to me. I think she sounds like a grown woman with a bad cold, struggling to get the barest of shonen emotions out. I'm sure she has her fans and even people who prefer her to Taylor, but in my opinion, it's one of the worst voice acting performances I've ever heard, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna keep the Ash clips to a minimum. Anyway, after Alice gives the gang a tour of Alamos, she takes them to her
Favorite place in the whole town.
a garden she used to play in as a little girl, where they discover some pillars that have been warped into collapsing and some potted plants that get randomly bisected. And just when our heroes start to suspect that local legend Darkrai is behind the damage, they appear in the shadows of the trees and accidentally trap Ash in a dark void in self-defense, until Pikachu shocks him awake in the Pokémon Center. The next day, Dialga and Palkia's fight escalates so much that it warps the sky over Alamos Town, and when Darkrai tries to investigate, several suspecting trainers attack them, causing them to unleash a spray of dark voids in retaliation. And after getting their affected Pokémon checked out at the Pokémon Center, our heroes discover they can't leave Alamos Town because of a strange fog that now covers it. I'd make a Silent Hill joke, but I actually haven't finished 2 yet. Elsewhere, Darkrai charges at the air above the local landmark, the Space-Time Towers, trying to stop Palkia from entering Alamos' plane of existence. But their efforts prove to be in vain, and the newly materialized Palkia pulls Alamos Town into the realm from the start of the movie, causing Dialga to follow in pursuit. And as the two deities fight, Alamos Town begins to crumble, either from their blasts or from the instability in space-time caused by their fighting, and Darkrai, unable to handle the Garden Alice's grandmother showed them kindness in being destroyed, tries to stop Dialga and Palkia from fighting. However, Darkrai's force doesn't quell the fighting, so Alice and her sorta boyfriend Tonio think a music disc that runs on the Space-Time Tower's system, left by Tonio's great-grandfather, will calm Dialga and Palkia. And after Alice finds the proper disc in the tower's altar, Dawn and Ash race to the system near the top of the towers. But just when they're about to make it there, Darkrai stops 2 collisions from Dialga and Palkia that would have resulted in the complete destruction of Alamos Town, at the cost of their own life.
Yes, I'm getting choked up over a Pokémon movie, what about it?
And just when Dialga and Palkia are about to go for a 3rd collision, Dawn and Ash play the music disc, Oracion, which not only stops the fighting but also causes the towers to transform into a glowing golden winged structure.
I'm not gonna front. The imagery combined with the song make for a beautiful little scene.
And with Palkia's heart now at peace, they return Alamos Town to its proper location, and our heroes mourn Darkrai later that day. That is until...
Darkrai!
And with one last intense stare from Darkrai, our movie draws to a close.
So that was the rise of Darkrai, and while it doesn't hold up as well as I remember, it's still an enjoyable watch.
Like I said, the voice replacements for the main characters don't do that good of a job, and the voice direction isn't doing them any favors. With even some supporting characters, notably Tonio and Baron Alberto, giving some bad line readings. On top of that, the movie is surprisingly slow, especially in the first 2/3, when it's mostly just setting up stuff to pay off in the 3rd act. Also, there's way too much CGI in this movie. It looked bad when the movie first premiered, and time hasn't been kind to it since. But there's still plenty of good here. While the replacement voice actors for Brock, Team Rocket, and Ash aren't very good, Emily Bauer and Christine Havam, who played Dawn and Alice respectively, give solid performances, along with Scott Williams, whose character I'll mention later. The movie is also notable in that it doesn't have a bad guy to take down, a trap many other Pokémon movies tend to fall into. Dialga and Palkia are the antagonists, but they're never framed as villainous in their actions. They're more like wild animals or forces of nature. They fight and destroy because that's just what they do. And I gotta talk about the best part of this movie, Darkrai. While older viewers can easily see Darkrai isn't a bad guy, the cinematography, music, and voice acting in all their scenes give Darkrai such a chilling presence that sticks in my mind well over a decade later. Combine that with a sympathetic backstory involving Alice and her family and a heroic sacrifice, even if they do go back on the ladder by the end, and you have, in my opinion, one of the best Pokémon to come out of the 4th generation. So while my problems with the movie are definitely glaring ones, I do recommend it, if only for the really good stuff that far outweighs the bad. If you haven't seen this movie yet, give it a watch. There's a surprising amount of light in the darkness.
Well, that was fun, but get ready, because the next time we go to the Pokémon world, we'll be in hell. Huh. Something wrong with my camera?